Okay, Mr. Evaristo, you have 10 minutes for your pitch. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. I'm very excited to be sharing this concept with you all, especially because this is what your theme park needs to take it to the next level. This 2022 edition is innovative, future proof, and the first step to elevating Ivory Towers from a regional park to a global contender. I'd like to introduce you all to Expedition Underground. Expedition Underground is a narrative driven high speed roller coaster that combines storytelling and thrills like no other ride has done before. This attraction will be made by Gerstlauer using their Infinity Coaster model. Gerstlauer was specifically chosen because they have experience in both making themed roller coasters as well as using some of the trick elements featured throughout the layout. Speaking of trick elements, this ride will use a technology that has been implemented recently worldwide, but hasn't been put together in this way yet, and some of which haven't been seen in the US before. This means that when this coaster opens, we can provide guests with a safe and reliable ride while still giving them experiences that they haven't seen yet in the US market. The estimated cost for this coaster is $50 million, with a 20% overhead built into the budget. There are three main demographics we're shooting for with this attraction. First and foremost, we always want to cater to our season pass holders and regional adventurers looking for a break from their day-to-day lives. A new ride like this, especially a roller coaster, will always draw crowds, but we took it a step further by infusing in it a sense of exploration and discovery, promising these people a sense of adventure. On a similar note, we want to draw in more young daredevils by making this coaster a rite of passage. By setting the height limit at 54 inches, we turn this ride into one of the first steps a child will take into becoming an adult. Because of this, we will anchor the attraction strongly in their childhood memories, so that through their teenage years and onward, they'll keep coming back with their friends and family. Finally, we want to target the theme park and coaster enthusiasts themselves by making this ride stand out. We designed this ride to be unique even amongst everything the world has to offer, amongst all the coasters, all the dark rides, etc., such that this ride will stand out in their minds. And once they start talking about it, they will disseminate the experience, the joy, the excitement Expedition Underground incites to a wider market, hopefully bringing in more people from around the nation and around the world. There are two main ways we will market this attraction to the local area. The image on the billboard and pamphlet use the most simple and elegant means possible to convey the main themes of our ride. The coaster diving underground not only told guests that this is a thrill ride, but that there's a sense of mystery and unknown surrounding this ride, kind of daring them to explore. This exploration motif is expanded upon with the bus ads, in which we explicitly say we need explorers to venture underground. By doing so, we set up a challenge to our guests, kind of seeing who is brave enough to face their fears on a new attraction. Now let's dive into the story of Expedition Underground, starting with its main character, Omega Nelson. Omega Nelson is a young black scholar who is willing to forge a path in the name of innovation at all costs. He has recently heard of the stories of Everhard Caverns, of how gold miners were digging too far and broke into this natural cave system, untouched by man for centuries. He also heard the rumors about how, soon after this cave system was found, both items and people started to go missing. He, of course, has heard then that the local authorities have shut this cave down and closed it off to all civilians. That's not going to stop him, though. He's very interested in why these people went missing, as well as what secrets the caves have to offer. And of course, he's going to need volunteers to help him figure it out. That's where our guests come in. This backstory will be hinted at a guest throughout the Q and pre-show, and will also foreshadow events that will happen on the ride. Newspaper articles will talk about the missing disappearances and how we haven't seen the explorers who went down Everhard Caverns in 2 weeks. There will be a notice on a desk warning miners to look out for suspicious activity and report all missing items. Finally, in the large room with all the switchbacks, there's going to be a depiction of the old gold mine itself, including its various branching mine tunnels connected to a central shaft serviced by an elevator. This scene will come into play later on in the story, but we want to plant this location in guests' minds before they step on the coaster. Before boarding their vehicles, guests will see a pre-show in which Omega's character will be revealed to them through a dramatic fashion, in which he has some conflict with an engineer. If you want more in this scene, please check out the screenplay in front of you, as it goes much more in depth in the story than we could in 10 minutes. As guests walk into the station, they will see these electric mine vehicles that will be used to take them through the cave system. As they sit down, a robotic female voice comes over the intercom and introduces herself as Cavern Artificial Intelligence, or Kai for short. She then lowers the restraints automatically, without guests touching anything, and as she does, Omega's voice also pops in through the PA system, saying that he'll be along for the ride virtually. Once the team members at the station give the all clear, Kai will start moving the vehicle forward, beginning the ride. It isn't all smooth sailing from here, however. Soon after leaving the station, Kai announces that there's a malfunction, and guests are thrown into a JoJo role. After this brief bit of excitement, Omega says that they should do a test run, just to be safe, launching guests into a thrilling roller coaster beginning, using high speeds and lots of fun, twisty elements. After completing the test run, guests dive underground, passing by gorgeous cavern landmarks, and twisting through tight tunnels until they reach a large cavern. In this cavern, Kai turns off the lights to reveal these soft blue twinkles up above. These are glowworms, hung on the ceiling. It's serene, but something's off. There seems to be shadows moving against the light, blocking off the twinkles as it shambles around. Suddenly, Kai blurs out a warning. Proximity sensors triggered, movement detected, and turns on the headlights, revealing these alien-looking figures, shielding their eyes from the sudden shine. These cave dwellers stare the guests down, building tension in the room until it's broken by them suddenly lunging at the vehicle. Omega yells, "Get out of there!" and Kai launches the vehicle back out of the room. A thrilling chase through the caverns ensues, with guests eventually getting away from the cave dwellers. Hearing the chittering and clicking of the cave dwellers fade off in the distance, guests wait in pitch-black darkness for a second or two, until Kai announces that it's safe and turns on the lights. When she does, Omega realizes that they're in the old Everhard gold mine, and he may have an idea on how to get out. He gives Kai some directions, and she leads guests through some of the man-made tunnels to the central chamber, depicted in the queue. As guests enter, they see this large cylindrical room stretching up 100 feet to the ceiling. At the top, they can see sunlight streaming in, lighting up the scaffolding that circulates the room, connecting all of the mines on all levels down to the floor. In the middle of the room, guests see this vertical lift dressed as an elevator shaft running up to the surface, to which Kai attaches the vehicle and starts the lift. It's not that easy though. Before reaching the surface, the car stops, dangling and stranding guests in midair. Kai suddenly gives a warning: vehicle malfunction, traction loss, right before guests plummet 60 feet back down the lift in a reverse freefall. This is one of the signature elements of the ride, as mentioned at the top of the presentation. As the car comes to a stop, Kai says that she needs a reboot, which is unfortunate because in all of the tunnels surrounding the guests, they can hear the familiar chattering of cave dwellers approaching. Omega starts freaking out, urging Kai to move faster, just as guests see the blue eyes and disjointed mouths of the cave dwellers approaching the vehicle. However, in the nick of time, the reboot finishes and the lift starts up again, bringing guests out of danger right on time.